Welcome back one and all. We're starting things off today in our new workhorse, the Lamborghini Urus. Once I hated this vehicle, I couldn't get in tune with it. Now, absolutely in love with the Urus. And it's not just for cross-country races. Off-road, on-road, it appears to be a bit of an all-rounder. We're going to explore that a little bit today, guys. Welcome back to the channel as always. We'll kick things off today with quite an interesting race. I think actually one of the most interesting races in Ibiza, the Natural Rhythm Clan race. It's 4 miles. It is a clear one, but as we can see, it's 96% gravel, just 4% asphalt, 400 to 500 RP in the cross-country category. Now, to kick things off today, we're not going to start the first race in the Lamborghini Urus. We're actually going to start it off in the Range Rover Sport SVR, and this race is absolutely bonkers. Pick a line, choose your favourite line, and hope for the best is essentially the mantra for this race. For me, not the best line to start things off. We do collect that inside wall, but this race actually gives us such an opportunity to be as explosive and as flamboyant, if you like, with these off-road racing vehicles. The Range Rover Sport, we can see, is very lively. It's got a lot of body roll. We do collect a lot of walls. We get very unsettled into that little chicane just there. But with this thing being as bouncy and as lively as it does give us an opportunity here to use our surroundings to our advantage. We've seen a couple of times collecting inside and outside walls, but it's an off-road race. We can touch the walls. It's all right. It's not a big problem. The Range Rover Sport here is obviously highlighting the fact that we can take these big bankings on the outside, have the body roll, use it to our advantage, and explore just how fantastic some of these vehicles are. I do feel I've had a very good build with the Range Rover Sport so far. I do set quite a competitive time in this vehicle time and time again. I have kind of moved forward to using the Urus a little bit more, as I do feel it's faster. But the flamboyancy and just the ludicrous fun I can have in this Range Rover Sport, I do get drawn back to it time and time again. Bring it into the aspect of using this race here in particular, it's absolutely nuts. And I'm sure if you guys haven't done this race yet, you're going to have tons of fun when you jump into it for the very first time. The race itself, it gives us everything. It's nice and wide, it gets nice and tight. We've got chicanes, we've got hairpins, it's got everything into it. Apart from, obviously, gravel, which many people want, that asphalt surface. I love the off-road racing, I've been very clear about that, and I want to cover more of it. Hence, why I'm putting out today's video. The last video actually did quite well as well. So I was hoping, and I am hoping, there's a bit of a turnaround on YouTube, that you guys are enjoying more of this cross-country style racing as much as I perhaps am. The different road surfaces we've now got, of course, we've had the introduction of the mud road surface, or mud surface. Again, another fantastic addition, moving into Season 2 on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. This for me is just getting better and better and better as it all goes on. The Range Rover Sport here negotiating those big dips in the road surface, unsettling the vehicle, but the big bouncing suspension that we've got here is soaking everything up that this race is giving to us. Through the left-handed, we just let the back end flow round all of those trees, get the power back down nice and early. What a fantastic race, guys. I hope you have had the chance to go over and try this one out. I'm going to come back to this time and time again. A little bit of a spoiler, I'm already up at the top of the leaderboard, not first place, very close to it. I think I'm actually about 3rd place on this leaderboard so far. We just managed to miss out that telegraph pole, which was good. So I've already set quite a fast time. It was this specific race itself where I did set that time. So I know I can go faster, and we'll see that one just shortly. Taking that inside wall, yeah, it's not caused us all too much of an issue. A little bit of a love tap. It's off-road racing. Rubbing is racing after all. Right hand hairpin here, we want to kind of try and power around that one. We don't do the best, but we don't do the worst, ultimately. We come up to this little tricky left-hander here, guys. Have a bit of caution into this one. We don't want to go off the right-hand side there. You'll ruin your time. We go a bit slow around that one, but again, slow is sometimes the quickest way. Stops us going off that right-hander that we just had. As we do get the power back down, we do start to make a couple of mistakes here, and it does ultimately cost us a few seconds, taking out 3 consecutive trees. Probably would have been at the top of the leaderboard for this one if it wasn't for those trees and a couple of those walls. So yes, I can tidy up on that race, and I probably can get first place. A little feather in the cap for myself. But as we come back over into the Lamborghini Urus, Well, it makes me start to think that are the cross-country vehicles only good for cross-country races? We already know the SVR Range Rover is fantastically good. A lot of you guys love the Sentiero buggy. I don't personally. I do have a new affinity now to the Lamborghini Urus. I think this thing is absolutely fantastic for the off-road races, but it obviously begs the question, what will it be like on-road? What's it like on asphalt? We're going to explore that, I believe, in the next race. I'm pretty sure that's the race I've kind of scheduled for this one next, as we do head over to the port, the dock side here, over in Ibiza, and we'll get set for the second race for today's video. That race itself is, of course, going to be the trip around the peninsula, that 2-lap 100% asphalt race, 550 to 650 RP in the cross-country category. Now, of course, tailoring this one just a little bit more to suit the needs of on-road racing, taking off the off-road suspension, bolting on track suspension, I believe, and of course fitting on not on-road tyres. I don't actually remember. I think it was slicks, it might be standards. It doesn't really matter all too much. Come into turn 1, we know this is a bit of a tricky one. The Urus handling it alright. Into turn 2, we know we can just get the power down here and shoot this one away from the rest of the AI, leaving all those guys fighting between themselves to get round turn 2. As we power through here, I do go a little bit cautious for this first uphill. Wasn't too sure how this thing would settle coming over the crest of that hill, but as we can see, the Urus actually managed it fantastically well. Into the braking zones where we're looking for this one to turn sharply, it does exactly what you want it to do. It turns so fantastically well. In through the right-hander, get ready for the next right-hander, into the left-hander, which we know tightens up through the little alleyway. We do get a little bit unsettled, but with the power this thing has and its weight, it's managed to push through all of that street furniture in through this little tight, intricate section. This thing's actually unbelievably nimble and versatile for the track that this one has got in front of it. We can see it's not really having any true stumbling blocks coming through the hairpins. We know we've got a right-hand hairpin here, a little bit of V-brake, power over, get the power down through the tunnel. Very impressed with the Urus. I think this might be the cross-country vehicle for on-road racing, if that makes sense. A little bit of a puzzle to decipher in your minds there, but for on-road racing with an off-road vehicle, so far very impressed with how the Urus has kind of came together. Yes, I've not tried every cross-country vehicle in the game, I know that, but I'm kind of a creature of habit. When I find something that I like, I tend to stick to it, and I'm kind of sticking to the Urus in the current moment in time. Through the chicane to round out lap number 1, we've got a huge lead over the rest of the pack. Currently at 27.1 seconds into turn 1 for the second and last time here. We do end up taking the outside wall. Turn 2, once again, get the power down nice and early. Unfortunately in the wrong gear coming out of that corner. Maybe cost myself a second or so out of that one. As we do pass the rest of the pack, they're just looking to finish off lap number 1. We come up that hill once again with a bit more confidence. We know that these suspensions fairly well set up in this one, and it's going to handle that big crest, or over the top of the crest, into the left-hander. As we come through the little tight section here, right-hander into right-hander into left-hander, we know we can carry a little bit more speed than we did in lap number 1, so we're actually managing this one out a lot quicker than we were the last time out. A little bit more cautious coming in through the alleyway. We don't want to be pushing ourselves wide. Managing that one out a lot better in lap number 2. Getting a little bit daring with this one now, touching the handbrake through some of those tighter corners, letting the back end of the Urus flow around the corner with us, and it's actually managing it fairly well. In through the first left-hand hairpin essentially there, it's not much of a hairpin, into the right-hander. We try a handbrake once again, we do, but the power doesn't get down quite early enough for me. We could have been a little bit faster there. Now in through this little tight section again, we don't want to overcommit to that outside wall, and we actually managed to get through that one again fantastically well. From here on out, it's foot to the floor. We want to get the Urus to the line as quick as we can, round the big sweeping left-hander, towards that right-hander, again looking towards that last lamppost for the braking zone. Just touching the brakes a little bit there, into the last chicane, and we do look to cross out lap number 2 with a huge 56-second lead, and it comes to no surprise the AI is already sitting at the finish line. I don't know why that happens on this race. Doesn't matter what category we are in. We've obviously done this before in the Grand Tourers. I believe we've done it in the supercars as well, and the AI still somehow manages to be sitting at the line waiting for us to take the win on the second lap there. So yeah, overall, to start things off with the Urus being on road, it is more than capable of being competitive, almost a minute lead over the rest of the AI. It'll be interesting when we actually start to get some players on those races with us to see how competitive we can be. Of course, we can just have a look at the leaderboard, and we're right up on the leaderboard, so it does tell us that I am setting good times with the Urus, and I am overly quite impressed. Moving into race number 3, urgent delivery, a 3.1 mile mixed race here. It's 87% asphalt with 13% gravel, 650 to 800 RP. So it's going to have a bit more in the mix here of gravel and asphalt. And again, we are going to stick with the Lamborghini Urus here. I have still got the same build from the previous race, so still have road tyres fitted. It is standard tyres, I did get clarity. It is standard tyres fitted, but track suspension. So we don't have the off-road capabilities. We're not going to absorb every bump that comes to us. But through the first dip there, the Urus actually held it quite well. In through the first right-hander, kink back on ourselves into the left-hander, get the power down nice and early, punch our way out this corner, in through a tightening left-hander here, and get ready for yet another 90 right. It's a very tight, intricate circuit that's, again, I absolutely love that these have been brought to the game. Yes, Hong Kong Island with its big, vast, wide races was fantastic, and I do still go back and race on those races that we have. But the introduction of these very tight, nimble, intricate races on Ibiza is massive for me. It's what I wanted to see. Like I kind of explained in the last video, that it causes us to be more precise and more cautious with our racing. As we jump into the off-road, gravel there, we can see that the Urus did really much lock up, so we can see that we have got the standard tyres fitted. It's not as capable off-road as we would of course want it to be. Unfortunately, taking that inside left wall doesn't unsettle us all too much. Left-hander through into a right-hander, try and get the power down nice and early, let the back end slide round with us. We just missed that inside wall there as we come out of the warehouses, and we get the power down here, down the back straight, I want to say here, cut back across, get round that one a little bit tight there. We unfortunately do clip the tyres on the inside, and it pushes us across the track, and unfortunately take the tyres again. A little bit of a scruffy one for me this time out, but ultimately we do still set quite a good time. 30 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack as we get a bit of lag here. I thought I had all of that fixed. One thing to note, guys, if you are experiencing lag, go in and check your graphic settings. I have mine fully customised, and they were optimal for my machine. With the update for Season 2, it has completely reset all of my settings, so I am working through them slowly to tailor them to the optimal performance of my machine. Go over and check your settings, your graphic settings, in case that is your issue. Back to the race. We are off-road now. We can see we don't have that level of grip that we kind of desire with the Urus. Taking out the tyres on the right-hand side there, we do need to be a little bit more cautious with these ones. In through the tunnel, letting the back end flow around. We just touch those tyres, but we do come straight back onto asphalt, and we do push our way through the last 10% towards the finish line. Fully committing to this one, just lifting a couple of times there as we come out of the tunnel, and we do come out in first place. Another fantastic race, and another fantastic race for the Urus. So overall, I for one am largely impressed with the Urus. I'm largely impressed with the races that have been delivered here from the team for Season 2. Still working my way through them. I've still got every single hypercar race to do. I've not touched any of the hypercar races as of yet. You guys know I don't overly enjoy the hypercar racing. For me, it's just not something that has a part in this game, but I'll do them because the races are there. I've also got some Grand Tourer races to do, just working the way through the list slowly, guys. I don't want to tire this game out too quickly. So what I'm doing this week is working through some of the cross-country races with the daily drivers and the cross-country category. Can't wait to use some of the supercars in the off-road races as well. How are you guys finding the game so far? We're obviously a couple of weeks in now from the launch of Season 2. Are you tired of it yet? Are you still enjoying the races? Do you want to see more? Are you looking for more map expansion? These are all things I'm actually going to cover off in some coming videos, so stay tuned for those ones when they do come out. Furthermore, what cars are you enjoying the most? Please do let me know. It'd be very interesting to see what cars that you guys are finding the most, most amount of luck with. I know some of the conversations we've had down in the chats, a lot of you guys have been using the Audi off-road Jeep, the Q7. Some are using the Porsche, some are using the godforsaken G-Wagon. I won't get into that one, it's a debate for another video. So, yeah, let me know what kind of cars you guys are also using. Am I missing something here? Is there a car I really need to be, checking out? maybe into next week, and most likely into next week, I am going to venture into the Celine cars, or the Selene cars. I still call it Celine, guys. I'm going to venture into those ones. I want to see what those ones are truly all about. A lot of interest around the Alfa Romeo 4C Digital Diesel. One of the viewers of the channel has obviously set some fantastic times with that 4C across many races, so looking forward to jumping into that one. Additionally, the Alfa, no it's not, it'll be the Abarth 500. I am interested with that. I've seen a lot of criticism that people aren't enamoured that that thing's rear wheel drive. I think it gives us a different aspect. Jumping into a very short wheelbase vehicle with rear wheel drive, we know it's never a good mix. But it's going to make some entertainment, and of course we have got the added bonus of £1 million or £1 million in-game credits for completing out the 100 races, or the 50 races actually. So yeah, there may be some content coming out about that one as well, guys. So yeah, stay tuned for all of that. Tomorrow, of course, is Christmas, guys, so with the channel just being very new, just a few months old, I want to thank everybody that has watched so far. Wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year when it comes. I hope you've enjoyed the content. I hope you continue to enjoy the content. Smashing the like button, subscribing, commenting, everything that you can do to help the channel out, to help this one grow. I want to keep making content for you guys, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So stay tuned for more content on Test Drive Unlimited. Solar Crown.